No one wants to believe that their loved one is struggling with addiction, but avoidance is never the answer. Kabir Singh is the Vice President of Operations for Amatus Recovery Centers, and he joins us now. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Elsa.
I'm glad to have you here. So I'm wondering, how do you know if your loved one has a problem? What are some of the warning signs that we, as the people who love them, should be on the lookout for?
So there's a wide variety of warning signs. Warning signs can go from something simply as loss of friends. With intravenous drug use in the summertime, there were long sleeves are being worn, isolation, staying in the room long periods of time, things like that are often. Sometimes there's something simple as things are disappearing from the house, especially with finding ways and means to get whatever substance somebody's using. They will start to.
So behavioral changes in sometimes clothing, that makes sense when you're trying to cover something up. I'm wondering why someone would start using in the first place. I'm sure it's a multitude of reasons, but what is it that you see?
It's certainly a complex question. It can stem from childhood trauma, PTSD, a lot of relationship anchored evidence behind that. Sometimes it's just simply that things have gotten out of control. College use or something like that happened, or stress from the workplace. There's a lot of complex reasons behind why people seek to self-medicate. Sometimes it's not drug abuse. It's actually medicating, self-medicating.
Like a coping mechanism, but it's not a healthy coping mechanism.
Correct.
So if we're noticing these things with our friends or our family, and we want to address it with them, but we're concerned, we don't want to hurt their feelings, or we don't want to accuse them, how do we address this topic without doing so?
So one of the hardest things to hear, and as a person in recovery myself and long-term sustained recovery, is things like, why don't you just stop? Or, you have so much potential, and things like that. So those kind of...
Everyone loves you.
Yes, everybody loves you. Of course, if it was just that simple, then that's what we would do. But a lot of times, getting educated on the disease of addiction, some of the things that are the components to the ways that people think when they are using, why they use or abuse alcohol or drugs are usually the best ways to understand and become educated, just like anything else, any other subject you would.
And the video that we saw there was the actual facility there.
Yes.
And you've got inpatient and outpatient,
We
correct?
do, yes.
Okay. And I'm wondering, what are some of the concrete ways to help a loved one, the steps that we can what can we do? Yes,
so some of the concrete ways are, one, to get help ourselves, to, again, get educated about the matter, seek help from professionals. So at Amatus Recovery Centers, we have operators standing by at our 800 number, so we can...
And they're always standing by.
Yes, they're always standing by, so we can navigate you towards one of the things we like to pride ourselves on is whether you're fit for our care or not, we'll get you to the right place, the place that makes sense to get your loved one help, or even yourself. Everything's private and confidential, so, you can
just make a call.
Yeah, make a call. That it's really the first step.
Okay, and so is there anything else that we should be doing in terms of us, supporting people that are going through this process? So
seeking help, so if you're a family member or a loved one that has somebody that's in active addiction or using, drugs or alcohol, there are groups out there that you can find a safe space for yourself to find other people. They're like Al-Anon and Nar-Anon are the groups that are called that, and there's other groups as well, where you can have a platform to understand more about your role, where you should draw lines, where there should be barriers to hey, the buck stops here. We need you to get help, or this is kind of it.
Yeah, because there are many different layers. I know that Amatus is here to help us, and so we've got that information on your screen. You have amatusrecoverycenters.com, 888-89-SOBER. You can call that number. Your locations are where again?
So we have locations in 4 states. We're in New Hampshire, Ohio. We have Gaithersburg, Maryland, Hagerstown, and Baltimore County here.
So you can reach out, call that number. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And we'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay tuned.